Good afternoon and welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Sarah O'Donnell and I work here at People's Resource Center, and today we're going to be talking about the topic of Twitter. So this is Twitter for beginners, and we'll just get started with a few simple items so that you can get started at home. So I'd like to talk about social media in a nutshell, or in a donut. There's various different platforms for social media, including Twitter, which is I am eating a hashtag donut. A hashtag is a way to take metadata and pull everybody together on one topic that people are talking about. So hashtag and then the topics area helps people to unite together, and you can see information on that particular topic area. When you hit a hashtag and whatever the topic area is, that also hyperlinks to a page where you'll find more information about that particular topic. Facebook is I like donuts. So we talk about things that we like on Facebook and things that we want to do during the day, and people want to follow and learn more about what you're doing during the day. Foursquare is where you're going to eat your donuts. So I'm at the donut shop and I'm eating my donuts here. Then you have Instagram, which is you might be taking a photo of your donut. YouTube is here I am eating my donut, and this is a video of me eating my donut. LinkedIn is my donut skills include, so you're talking more about your business skills related to a certain topic area. Pinterest is more about pinning information and pulling information together on a pin board, and it could be pictures, it could be recipes. So for this particular example, I would say here's a recipe for making donuts. The two later ones that are on here in regards to social media, which is Last.fm, that is a radio site where you can listen to information. So you might be listening to a song called The Donuts, or a song by a group called The Donuts. And then Google Plus is through Google, and that's joining a circle of friends of donut eating enthusiasts. So it's basically an enthusiastic group of people who like to particularly talk about a particular subject area. So that's social media in a donut. But today we're going to focus on Twitter, which is hashtag whatever your topic may be. And now we're going to watch a quick video on Twitter, and it's called Twitter in Plain English.
So, what are you doing? It's one of the first questions we often ask friends and family. Even if the answer is just mowing the lawn or cooking dinner, it's interesting to us. It makes us feel connected and a part of each other's lives. Unfortunately, most of our day-to-day lives are hidden from people that care. Of course, we have email and blogs and phones to keep us connected, but you wouldn't send an email to a friend to tell them you're having coffee. Your friend doesn't need to know that. But what about people that want to know about the little things that happen in your life? Real life happens between blog posts and emails, and now there's a way to share. This is Twitter in plain English. Thanks to Twitter, it's possible to share short, bite-sized updates about your life and follow the updates of people that matter to you via the web. Here's how it works. Meet Carla. She's addicted to her mobile phone, reads blogs every day, and has contacts all over the world. She heard about Twitter and was skeptical. After some of her friends couldn't stop talking about it, she gave it a try. She signed up for free and saw that Twitter pages look a little like blogs with very short posts. Each page is personal and has updates from friends. She got started by looking up her friends on Twitter.com. After finding a few, she clicked follow to start seeing their updates on her Twitter page. Within hours, she began to see a different side of people she chose to follow. She didn't know that Steven in Seattle was a baseball fan, or that Julia in London was reading a new investment book. The little messages from Twitter painted a picture of her friends, family, and coworkers that she'd never seen before. It was the real world. Soon, she became a fan of Twitter and posted updates every day. Her friends followed her updates and learned that she recently discovered a passion for Van Halen. They could see Carla's life between blog posts and emails. For Carla, Twitter worked because it was simple. The updates were always short, under 140 characters. Plus, she could post updates and follow her friends using the Twitter website, software on her browser, a mobile phone, or instant messages. By asking members to answer the question, "What are you doing?" Carla found that Twitter brought her closer to people that matter to her, 140 characters at a time. Find out what your friends are doing at twitter.com. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Twitter in Plain English on The Common Craft Show.
So what is Twitter? What is tweeting? Twitter is basically microblogging. It is telling people and broadcasting out to the world in a simple subject matter about things that you're doing or you think others might find useful. Twitter is conversely about discovering interesting people online and following their burst messages for as long as they might be interesting to you. So in a nutshell, Twitter is really short, very few characters we use, whereas Facebook you might have an entire lengthy page of a post, or you might go to a regular blog and see an entire post of wording as well. So why is Twitter used? Twitter is used for some simple areas. It's pushing out information about news, entertainment, trending topics that have to do with the world and pop culture, sales lead and business using Twitter ads. So for me in particular, I might be looking to push information about PRC that's going on and inviting people to come and learn about Twitter. So I might do hashtag Twitter, hashtag Tech Tuesday, hashtag People's RC to get people to know more about Twitter and Tech Tuesday and People's Resource Center. Restrictions, you just heard 140 characters, so it's not 140 words, it's actually 140 characters, so a space in your tweet counts as a character. If you do some picture posting, that eats up some of your character width that you get to use, so you have to be careful about what you're tweeting, but it also encourages you to become very crafty and creative about your tweets, so people will look at them and stop and say, hey, what's going on in PRC's world or in your world at home? So how does Twitter work? It's basically a broadcaster and a receiver can use it. Accounts are free, so if you do not have an account and you'd like to sign up today, I do have step-by-step so we can go through walking through signing up for account. It's 140 characters or less to make your message. To receive Twitter feeds, you just have to follow somebody. You can include celebrities, you can include places of business, you can include each other in this classroom, you can include basically anybody who has a Twitter account or any business out there that has a Twitter account. So the County of DuPage has a Twitter account, PRC has a Twitter account, the park districts have Twitter accounts, so a lot of local businesses do have them, and you can follow what's going on in their world rather than reading through an entire newsletter. Once a person becomes uninterested, you can go ahead and unfollow them. So if you decide, I really am kind of tired of reading about this particular Twitter feed or this Twitter message from somebody, I'm just going to unfollow them. So I'm not going to receive their messages anymore. So it's very simple. And you have the freedom to choose what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Definitions. So this is also in your handout, but you can have it as well. The @ symbol is used for identifying a person in a tweet. So if I'm going to tweet about Debbie, for example, I'm going to put, I had a great time at your job training seminar at Debbie Lunger. So now it's going to show up in Debbie Lunger's feed that I was talking to her through Twitter. So it just kind of highlights it, just like you would in Facebook, like you would tag a picture. It's the same way I'm tagging Debbie in that tweet. The hashtag symbol is, like I said earlier, it's a way to pull data together in one particular subject area. Some of you may refer to it as the pound symbol, but nowadays it's called hashtag symbol. So whether you use hashtag or pound in this classroom, I'll know what you mean. Direct message, that's the way that you can send a private message to one another if you're on Twitter. So if I wanted to send a private message to Mary, I would just choose Mary, and you'll see some screens in a little bit that allows me to send her just a private message because I don't want the whole world to know about Mary and I going out to lunch tomorrow. So, favorite, very similar to Facebook, the thumbs up. You can give somebody a favorite on Twitter. Feed, this is your wall where you see everybody else's messages come through. So similar to Facebook again, you'll see people's messages, the tweets that they've given out. Follow, we talked about that a little bit. That's how you learn to like or follow a person, whether it be a celebrity, a friend, or a business. And then follower is somebody who's following you. So retweeting is sharing somebody else's tweet. So if Carl put a tweet out, I really liked what he said, it was very inspirational, I would go ahead and retweet it. I'd like the rest of the world to know about Carl's inspirational tweet. And a tweet is a public message. It's a public message that's out there for the world to see in 140 characters or less. So with that being said, be careful what you tweet online. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go through some slides here about logging into twitter.com. So if you want to go ahead and pull up on your computer screens, twitter.com. First component that you're going to do is you're going to log into your Twitter account. There's a few things that you're going to need to have a Twitter account. You're going to need an active email address. So if you need to log into your Gmail or into your Hotmail or whatever your email account is, you might want to do that at the same time here. So if you so happen to want to, you can open up another tab so you can have your email and your Twitter account going at the same time. So twitter.com. Over here, you'll see the button says log in and sign up. So if you have not signed up yet for an account, go ahead and click sign up. And you'll come to a screen like this. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and enter your name in. So if it was me, I'd put in Sarah O'Donnell. And then on the next line, I'm going to put either my cell phone number or my email. And then I would choose a password. A password can be anything. It's not case sensitive. I would recommend using something that's familiar to you but not familiar to everybody else. And then you'll click sign up. One thing that I am going to emphasize down here is tailor Twitter based on my recent website visits. You can choose to click this or not click this, but it will bring up people in your feed based on what you're looking at on the internet. So your phone number is not shown to the world unless you choose to show it to the world. So you can, I'm positive, and I'm going to show you where that is in settings in a little bit. So if you only want to put your email in, you can just put your email in. It's your choice. So once you click sign in, or sign up, whichever the button said, the next point that you're going to get to is enter in your phone number if you hadn't already entered it, which it looks like everybody's kind of moving along here well. You're going to get a verification number on your phone and it will say something like 9883452Q, and you'll enter that verification code in. So again, all the steps are in the handout we gave you today, so if you get lost or you don't have the information and you want to do this at home, it is available in the handout. Okay, so this is the best part. You get to choose your username. So this is what's going to make you unique to the rest of the world that's on Twitter. For me, I chose PRC Sarah, or Sarah PRC I think it was. So I have a specific account just for me here at work. But maybe you want to have something that says Susie likes donuts. That's going to be your username. So whatever you'd like your username to be. And it could be as simple as Susan Smith. So if you want to have just very blanket plain, you can choose what you'd like. It will populate below some suggestions if your username is already taken. So that would be the next step that we have here for Twitter. Okay, so this is what my screen looked like when I was signing up for my account. It then said my name there, welcome Sarah O'Donnell, and then I clicked let's go. It asked me what I was interested in, so this was what would tell me what comes up in my feed. They were going to tell me if I was interested in entertainment and music and I only wanted those two, that's what I'd click and it would let me see tweets related to entertainment and music. Being that I'm like a person who likes a lot of things, I signed up for all of them and now I'm getting tons of tweets from all over the world. So if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to do so. So once I clicked what I liked, it would bring me to the next page, which then said, okay, so you like sports. The Chicago Blackhawks are really popular. BuzzFeed is something you might be interested in. So these are all the different topics that I'd be following in Twitter based upon the input that I gave on what I liked on topics. I can choose, maybe I'm not a Blackhawks fan and I'm a fan of another hockey team. I would go ahead and unclick this and then go ahead and press follow. So I would see everything else, I just wouldn't see the Blackhawks. But I like the Blackhawks, so I'm going to see it. The next step, it asks us to upload a photo. So when you're home and you have a picture accessible on your phone or on your computer, you can go ahead and upload your photo. You're going to go ahead and click right in this area here, and it will say upload photo. Or if you so happen to have a camera on your computer, you can take your photo right there and then. So I chose to upload my photo. I picked a picture of myself, and then I could also make it larger or smaller so that my face would make the icon profile picture. So the next part is if I wanted to reach out to friends and find some more people to follow beyond pop culture and religion topics and things that I was interested in. I actually wanted to connect with you, my friends. So I would allow for Twitter to go into my Gmail account and pull up all my contacts. You can definitely skip this step. There's a step down here. I choose to skip this step just because I don't necessarily want all my contacts in Gmail contacting me on Twitter. So that's a personal choice, and that's probably a choice that some of you might want to choose to do. Just it's up to you. So, you know, older adults may not want their younger children seeing what they're writing on Twitter, or conversely, the kids don't want their parents to see what they're writing on Twitter. So if I did go ahead and choose to do this, I'd pick my email account that I want to link up. And then I was going to, if I so chose to, I would allow or deny it. And in this case, I allowed it, so you could see it for a step here. Based on my Gmail account, it said, oh, well, you like to read CNN, you like to read about Perez Hilton and Pink. So it now added all these to my Twitter feed as well, which we'll get to in a minute. I know it's a lot of technical stuff that I'm going through right now. So I did choose to follow all 20 of those things, although I really don't know who this person is, so I figured I'd learn about them. It's going to send a confirmation email to your email address that you've signed up for your Twitter account. So this part right here is what we'd focus on, that you'd go back to your email account and confirm that you've signed up for Twitter. So you go back to your email just like I discussed, confirm your Twitter account. I'd confirm it, and I'd go back to the home page. So on the home page, there are buttons at the top. This is exactly what a Twitter account looks like now. So there's buttons up here. There's home, notifications, moments, and messages. Home basically means your home screen. That's where you're going to see all your feed and your messages. And then notifications, that's if somebody's talking about you out there. So if it was hashtag or at Mary Smith, it would come up here and it would notify me somebody's out there in the world talking about me through Twitter. So that's a notification. That notification also talks about how somebody may have retweeted, like Carl's message that was very inspirational to me earlier. He would get a message that I retweeted his tweet. Moments is basically what's trending in history right now. What's going on in the world, and what do we see going on. So the Chicago Cubs obviously is trending right now, so you're going to see trend tweets on that. And then messages is just like we talked about earlier. Mary and I want to go out to lunch tomorrow, so I'm going to send Mary a private message. I'm not going to send her a whole tweet on here and then everybody's going to meet us out at McDonald's for lunch. Again, trends, you don't necessarily have to go to moments. You can go to the trends over in this area here down to the left, and you can see what's trending and going on right now in the world. You'll see my name is here. You'll see my email is here, is what I've chosen, or my handle. My profile picture, and then there's this background splash. We're going to go over that background splash in just a minute. Tweets, at the point when I put this presentation together, I hadn't tweeted anything yet, and I have 59 people that I'm following.
Sarah, can I just ask you how much of your day is taken up by tweets if you're following 59 people?
Not much. On my Facebook account, I have about 1,000 people that I follow. So on Twitter, being that this is a new account, and I really don't use Twitter as much as I use Facebook, I probably have a couple hundred on there. Susan has a lot for our PRC Facebook Twitter account. So we're following hundreds on there because we want to know what's going on in the community and how can we help somebody that's out there that needs a helping hand. So, or how can we get our message out about ways that we can help them. So,
When you get a message that someone is now following you and you've never heard of them, why did you get that, and what should you do about that?
so you can choose to accept that person to follow you, or you can decline that person following you. If you don't know who they are, and my air of caution is, yeah, it could be somebody just goofy out there, is don't accept the follow, because you just don't know who they are. If you're I guess if you'd like to know and you're like a little more mystery in your life and you want to find out who it is, you're more than welcome to do so. But they might be starting to send you messages then that give you spam links to different spam accounts and such like that. So I kind of keep it a rule of thumb to only friend and follow people that I know, or businesses that I know and am interested in, and likewise only accept their follow if I know who they are.
You say, how do you not follow these people? Because like I have two right now, and I literally just signed on, I don't know these people.
So unfollow them. There should be a button underneath when you click up their profile that says unfollow. And then also in settings you can block people too. So this is what your feed looks like. It goes down the center of your screen. So all those messages, this is where you can find them. Up here is where you can search for your friends. And then the next part is more people that you can choose to follow. So if I want to follow Daniel Tosh, CNN, Washington Post, I can click those. Those are all things that are going to come up based upon what you're liking out there in the world and what you're reading on the internet. And then tweet. So if I push this, I can then write my first tweet if I so chose to do so. But what I'm going to dive into a little bit deeper is editing your profile, because I think that's important for you to know. So this is the edit profile button here. This is where you can edit your picture, your name, your information that's out there about you. So I think that's an important place to start whenever you're starting up an account, because that's where you're going to set your security settings. So remember how I talked about before you can change that backsplash? If you click on that backsplash, you can upload a picture in there, just like I uploaded my picture. It'll give you the same prompts, and it just makes you look a little bit more unique to the next person. So it's your choice. You can put anything up there that you'd like. I chose to put my birth date on here. I don't mind if you know my birth date, so other people may. So that's a security setting that you might want to make sure to turn off. So up here, where my picture is a drop-down menu, and there's a button called Settings. This is important for when you want to make sure you don't want people to see your email, your hometown, your telephone number. That's where you want to go to and make sure that those settings are set. So this is what the screen will look like when you click on Settings. You're going to see Security and Privacy. So your login verification, a password reset. So you kind of have to read through these to determine which one you want to have set up and you don't want to have set up. In particular, I know the question about telephone came up earlier, so I would go ahead and select mobile in the settings, because that will allow me to turn off my mobile phone from being out there for the world to see. So just to kind of give an overview of what each of these are, password is your password. Cards and shipping have to do with pieces that are mailed and shipped to you. Order history if you buy anything on Twitter. Mobile is the phone we just talked about. Email notification, that's a huge one. If you're a heavy user of Twitter and you have a lot of followers and you have a lot of people out there that you're following, you're going to want to turn your email notifications off, because otherwise you're going to get notified every few minutes that, hey, Susan just tweeted this, and Joe just tweeted that, and Mary just tweeted this. So you're going to want to turn and modify your email settings on there. Same with web notifications. Web notifications is if you're allowing Twitter to follow you on the World Wide Web. Find friends is just like that, is finding friends that are out there. And then muted accounts might be other accounts that you have that are out there that you want to turn off. So you might have 2 Twitter accounts, or 3 or 4, depending on if you're a business and you have multiple accounts out there. Blocked accounts, if there's somebody out there who's harassing you or you don't want them seeing your information, you'd go ahead and put it in blocked accounts down here. So you would click onto that setting. So again, privacy, this is what I talked about earlier, the privacy settings. If you don't want people to tag you in their pictures, I'd go ahead and select that, that you don't want them to, or only people that I know I'm going to let them tag me in a picture. Tweet privacy. Pardon?
So I'm doing it mobile, so mine's a little different.
Yeah.
Allow, anyone can tag me. Should I turn that off?
You'll want to probably, if you allow anyone to tag you, it's anyone in the world can tag you. So it could be,
Followers.
so you want to set it to just allow people who follow you to tag you. Just because Mary might find a picture that's out there that's, you know, a totally different picture that has nothing to do with you at all, but tag it as you. So hopefully Mary wouldn't do that, or she's a pretty good person, but you never know. She might get a mean spell in her every now and then. Tweet location, I like to turn that off because I don't want people to know if I'm out and about and where I'm tweeting from. If I'm not home, I don't want them to know that I'm out at the store and I'm shopping there, because then they know my house, nobody's home at it. So I choose to keep that off of my tweets, just for security.
So if it's unselected, that means it's off, right?
That means it's on. So
Does it say add a location to my tweets, and it's not a check mark in that box?
then it's off.
Okay,
Sorry.
just want to make sure.
Yep.
Done with you.
Discoverability, this is where you want to, if you want to check it, if you want people to be able to find you by your email address or your phone number. So,
And that's the world, not just the people you're following.
right, exactly. So they can randomly have a computer sitting there typing in different telephone numbers. So I would keep that off too. That's, you know, everybody has their own preference, but me, I just like to be safer than sorry, I guess, later. So. Personalization, again, I turn this off because I might be visiting a website for work, or I might conversely be visiting a website at home, and I don't necessarily want that information to follow me when I log in wherever I'm logged in at. You can also promote your promoted content. You can tailor the ads based upon information shared by ad partners. I just keep this clicked off as well. And then Twitter for Teams. I'm not very, I don't have a lot of background in Twitter for Teams, so I only allow people I follow to add me to their team. So Susan might be able to speak more to that, but I think for the most part, unless you're on like in a huge business working in their marketing department, you're probably not likely to have a Twitter team per se. And then receive direct messages from anyone. I have this clicked off because I only want people who I follow or follow me to send me messages. I don't necessarily want junk or spam mail messages from people that I don't know. You can choose your background settings and kind of set your personality a little bit more down in the design tool on the left. I picked pink. I really like pink, so it turned my tweet button to pink. So that's basically what that does. Apps and widgets is if you're getting a little bit more advanced into Twitter and you want to use the application for Twitter and other social media components that you use in the world. So if you're using Facebook and you want to connect things together, that's where you would go in and work that component. So we talked about notifications earlier. Here's a notification, music for car, he's following me, or she. Moments, we talked about this. This is trending history. So when I was putting together this presentation, it was NFL Sunday. So all the statistics were coming up about Sunday and the football games that were going on. And the typhoon had just hit the Philippines around that time. So that information was coming up. The direct messages, like I talked about earlier, this is what the screen looks like when you go to hit direct messages. And then it gets into the fun part where you start looking for your friends. Naturally, I went to go search for my husband right off the bat. So I put his name in here. I had to ask him, do you go by Brian O'Donnell or Brian P. O'Donnell? Because it's very specific. And so I put in Brian O'Donnell, and his name popped up. So this is my husband here. He doesn't look like a cartoon character in life. That's just his picture that he's chosen. So if you have your Twitter up and you want to go ahead and try and find a friend, you can go ahead and try that.
And then you just click on their name.
Yep. And then it brought me to his screen, so I know that's him because I know this is his desk and that's all his helmets on his desk. And so I chose to follow him. And so the follow button is right here. Once I click that follow button, it highlights itself. It says follow. If I decided I was having a really bad day and we got into an argument and I want to unfollow him on Twitter, I just go back to his screen and click that follow button and I'd unfollow him. So
what happens if he doesn't want you to follow him? Do you get some kind of message back?
correct. It will only let me follow him once he accepts it on his end. So I can't necessarily see everything until he's accepted it. So same thing for you. I wouldn't be able to see your screen until you said, yes, Sarah, it's okay, you can be a follower of mine. And that would pop up in your notifications. So the next person, of course, I wanted to see is People's Resource Center, and I wanted to see a business, not a person. So for this particular topic area, I went PRC at People's RC. So that happens to be what our handle is that @ symbol that we talked about earlier.
PRC at what?
People's RC.
People's RC. But you could just type in People's Resource Center, couldn't you?
You can, but it doesn't necessarily come up in the top of the feeds because of the way the account was set up for us.
But then you just have to find it.
Yeah, and it's a long time. We get a lot of People's Republic of China topics that come up, so.
There's a People's Resource Center in Vermont, or Maine, one of those places, in Maine, I believe.
So it just depends. So that's what we put in, and it brought me to the page. And then I went back to my home page, which is here. So if you see the home page, you click on it, and I decided to write my first tweet. So again, hashtag is the way that we hyperlink and bring all that metadata together, and then the @ symbol is to tag someone in the tweet. So I decided I'm going to be teaching hashtag Twitter because I wanted to talk about Twitter and have that metadata come together for beginners.
When you talk about bringing the metadata together, what does that
Mean?
Twitter mean? What will that do?
So anybody who's out there that does a hashtag Twitter, if I put hashtag Twitter in a search box, so let me escape out of here and I'll go into Twitter and I'll show you. So when I put hashtag Twitter in, it's bringing up information that people are tweeting or businesses are posting on their website about Twitter. So whenever we put hashtag whatever the topic is, it's going to pull from all over the world and tell me who's also talking about that at that particular time. And maybe I find out that somebody in this class is also writing about Twitter, then I would go ahead and maybe friend them, because now I see Jeff Bullis is talking about Twitter, and maybe I know Jeff Bullis or I want to follow him, so I could click on him and decide to follow him. So hashtag Twitter for beginners at People's RC for the hashtag Tech Tuesday program on 10/20/2015. So at People's RC, I've now tagged People's Resource Center, and I've hashtag Tech Tuesday. So anybody else who's out there in the world that's doing a Tech Tuesday program, it might come up. So Xerox, they talk about Tech Tuesday because they're talking about a particular topic. Mashable is also, it's got hashtag Tech Tuesday because they're talking about Meerkat. And then Action for Blind People, looks like they're talking about different things that they use in their organization and pulling in Tech Tuesday to their program as well.
Can you go back to how you wrote your tweet?
Sure.
Or where your tweet is? I have a question.
Sure.
I'm going to be teaching Twitter for beginners at People's Resource. Why, I mean, what would happen if you put hashtag People's RC for Tech Tuesday? I don't know the difference between
You want
that.
to field that one?
It would take you to all the posts that are hashtagged People's RC. And it might not be ours. It could be, but it might not be either.
I guess that's where I didn't know the difference between like when you use a hashtag and when you don't.
So I use hashtags more than I should probably. I use them quite frequently because you never know where you're going to pull your data together and where you're going to pull people together. So I use it as much as I can. So it might be hashtag for this particular one. We had a golf outing at Arrowhead, so I might do hashtag Arrowhead Golf Club or hashtag Wheaton Park District or even hashtag Seven Gables Park. So there might be a whole bunch of different ways that I could use that hashtag to kind of relate to different topic areas. So, and then when that particular topic area pulls up their Facebook or their Twitter, they're going to see everybody who's talked about them. So if I were to open up Arrowhead's Twitter page and I was Arrowhead navigating it, it would bring up everything that says hashtag Arrowhead. So if it was David Bean and he had put that in, hashtag Arrowhead, it would show up on Arrowhead's Twitter page.
So could you explain just quickly again what the difference between the hashtag versus the @ sign?
So do you want to?
That's used for identifying more. Our name is @PeoplesRC. And if people want to find us or refer people to us, that's what they're going to use. If they use a hashtag, that means they want to get together with all the people that are talking about PeoplesRC.
Okay.
That's the difference. Okay.
Thank you. So that was my first tweet that I put out there. It was seen by 14 people. I added media to it, so I added a picture of Tech Tuesday to it, so it ate up a little bit of my bandwidth of 140 characters that I could use. Then the next thing was I read my feed and I saw some really interesting tweets that were out there, and I wanted to retweet them. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. With Valapalooza's coming up for Giving to Page, I went ahead and I retweeted that because some of my followers may not be following Giving to Page, but they might be friends of mine or followers of mine, and they're volunteers, and maybe they want to nominate somebody for Valapalooza or sign up to go to Valapalooza. Replying to a tweet about you or your place. So interestingly enough, when we put in @PeoplesRC, this tweet came up from Wheaton Park District. People's Resource Center joined, and you can't see it here, but it said Percy, which is our ambassador from People's Resource Center, joined staff at Cosley Zoo's Pumpkin Fest this morning. So much fun. So I was able to then reply to it and give them a comment back saying, thanks for tweeting about us, and we hope Percy's found a good home by you. So that is all I have on Twitter at this point in time. I know it's a lot of information. I went through it really fast, but it really is pretty addictive and easy to get used to once you kind of navigate on your own. So what I was going to do is the last components of this class, and I know we've ended quite early, is to spend the time letting you navigate, and if you have specific questions, I can go ahead and answer those questions for you. But thanks for being such a great class.
Okay, this is the People's Resource Center page. Now what I like to do, Mary asked the question about how long you can be on there. We have 131 followers who give us messages. I can be on this thing for hours upon hours. So to do something so I'm not just sitting and reading it all day long is I like to retweet. And when you retweet, you also have room to put a message on there. So I'll look real quick. No Kid Hungry is somebody I like to retweet because they talk about the mission of PRC as well, feeding people. So it says, it's official. TOT NDC will be back on April 4th. I don't know what that is, so we're going to skip them. You can see I follow a lot of, let me sit here. I follow a lot of news organizations. So they're all giving us tweets about what's new in the news. And right now we are home. So I'm getting the feeds from everybody. Now, where it says notifications 2, that means 2 people are talking about us. So we're going to go to notifications. And Daphne is Daphne is following us. Oh, that's you. Okay. So somebody has talked about us. We get the notification because you put in @PeoplesRC. And now I can retweet back to you and say thank you for following us. Lowell School has done something with us. They're helping us with Stuff a Truck, which is a promotion we're doing. So they put in Make a Difference Day, which is the promotion, and @PeoplesRC. So with that @PeoplesRC, it triggers that we've been mentioned, and it's listed in the notifications. So I'm going to go back home and see what's going on. Now, in just that time that I went away, we already got one new tweet. By the time we look through these, that'll be 15 or so. Now, one thing we can do to search Twitter is go #FlyTheW. That's the Cubs hashtag. So by putting that on, everybody is referring to Fly the W on the Cubs. Let me show you as we go down lower. This is the official Twitter feed of the Chicago Cubs. Fox 32 News is talking about the Cubs, so they put in Fly the W. So it's on their tweeting page, but it's also under Fly the W so everybody can see what they're talking about. Okay, does that make things clearer?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go back home. And I just go through and look if I have nothing to put on. I look for something that I want to retweet. Let's see. Usually it's from a food all right, here. DuPage Pads is asking if you need Cubs tickets. Now what I can do is retweet them and put it on our feed. So anybody who needs Cubs tickets will see on our feed that they can win them at Pads. So I'm going to retweet. Now I can add a comment. It's got to be 140 characters.
So that gets the PRC's name out then.
Right.
And that's your objective, is to get
Right.
our name out as much as possible.
Sometimes I put in the city of Wheaton, and I can't believe there's no food bank ones in here, because usually that's what I do. What's happening in the Tech Tuesday class? Oh, wait a minute.
So it's got to be no spaces.
Right.
with the hash.
The text teaching @Peoples. Now, because it's my tweet, I don't have to put @PeoplesRC in there, but I'm putting it in just to show you, because everybody sees it's from PRC, PeoplesRC. Okay. Teaching PeoplesRC. Okay, you can see I've got 74 characters left of the 140, but I'm going to leave that. Now, if I put a picture in there, this would go down, way down, to probably about 25, if not less, characters. Oh, and there was one other thing I was going to show you. Because you have few characters to work with, a lot of times you don't want to put in your whole web address. So what you can do, this is a place where you can shorten your address, and that way it's less characters. It's HTTPS. Let's see if that goes. Okay. Right here, it says shorten. You can put your website address in there, and it will give you a shortened address. So I'm going to put in our website address. Okay. They changed our website address to this. Now I copy that and I use it in the tweets if I'm referring to our website. This will be a little bit shorter and it will save characters. And here's one that's been shortened, a web address that's been shortened. Now, this is shown up. It's been up for 3 minutes. And see, like I said, all right, we've already got 3 new tweets coming in. Somebody's reading this, they like to know that PRC is teaching Twitter. They're going to hit favorite, and that makes it a favorite, the star right here. This is retweet, and this is reply. So you're able to do all those things.